In this video, I'm gonna share the 7 best lessons I learned at age 27. My humble opinion is that I think they are very good, so let's get this started. Lesson 1. It's okay to be cringe. This was the year when I started this YouTube channel, and in the beginning I did not enjoy looking at myself talking because I would repeat the same line multiple times and then I had to go back and forth when editing. I used to procrastinate so much doing this. Fortunately, this is no longer the case and I can now watch myself talk and edit without too much problem. So how did I fix this? I made it part of my identity that it's okay to be cringe. I made it part of my identity that I'm not a person who fear cringe. I told myself that when the feeling of cringe happens, that's probably a sign that I'm doing the right thing because I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I also think that embracing cringe is gonna make your life more interesting. You could say that I turned cringe into a source of fuel, and this is something that can be done for other negative feelings also, like fear, worry, and nervousness. Now I just think that as long as I tried my best, it's okay if it turns out cringe. I will just learn from it and improve. I realize that this is part of the game, and the sooner I can get over it, the better. The way a lot of people live is that they live a very careful life. They stay in the comfort zone and only say things other people want to hear. That to me doesn't seem like a good way to live. I'd rather be cringe than being that careful person who never takes any risks and never commits to anything. I'm not giving the suggestion here to seek out cringe and be as cringe as possible. By no means have I mastered this. I still feel nervous when recording in public, but it's so much better now compared to before. Next, the importance of closing loops. The idea here is to just solve our existing problems before starting new ones. If we leave things unsolved, the problems will just stay in our minds and we will waste a lot of time and attention thinking about them. For example, I have been thinking about defrosting my freezer for like 3 weeks, and yesterday I finally did it. So now I can move on with my life. Pay attention to strong emotions. This is just a simple way to become more self-aware throughout the day. The exercise is that whenever I feel a strong emotion, like an 8 out of 10 or higher, I take a moment and ask myself what happened and why did I feel such a strong emotion. This can help us to get to know ourselves better because there's probably something important behind it. And this can be done for both positive and negative emotions. The importance of celebrating wins. My workflow now is something like this. First, I create a plan on what needs to be done. Then I work and finish all the tasks on the plan. And once I'm done with that, I celebrate a little bit. And celebration can be in many forms. For example, a dinner outside, a vacation, or just playing some video games. After that, I just repeat the process again. And I do this on both shorter and longer time frames. For example, I have a daily plan and a monthly plan. My mindset when working is that it's very important that I give it my all and actually finish the work. I don't want to reward myself when I'm only halfway done and then tell myself that I'll finish the rest after the reward. So being disciplined is very important here. At least for me, rewards feel better when they have been earned. That's one of the reasons why I don't want any gifts on my birthday. My mindset when celebrating is very simple. Be present and don't think about work. I try to mentally change into rest and celebration mode. When I do this, I have noticed that I always feel more motivated and excited to return to work. So why are rewards important? I have read that we will more likely do something if there is a reward afterwards, because it gives us something to look forward to. And of course, I try to be reasonable on how I reward myself. While speaking of rewards, I also think it's very important that we make the work itself feel rewarding to do. You know what? Just one more comment here. You have probably heard that life is not a sprint but a marathon. But it should instead be a marathon of sprints, and between each sprint you celebrate, rest, and then plan for the next sprint. Number 5. No need to answer things that are unclear. For example, this was the year when I started this YouTube channel, and there were some people who asked me what my goal really was here. And I can see how it can be very tempting to start talking about your goals as if they have already happened. But for me personally, I don't like talking too much about my goals. that I have not yet achieved. I don't mind talking about things I'm working on right now, or if there is something I've made good progress on. But I don't want to talk about things that are too far in the future. If I do this, it always makes me feel a bit weak afterwards. I think it's a lot better to just let your results speak for themselves. I know that there are a lot of people who really like to talk about their goals and plans all the time, because talking about your goals kinda feels like you're making progress on them. A good quote here is, "Talking about the thing and doing the thing vie for the same resources. Allocate your energy appropriately." My response now when people ask about things that are unclear is that I'm still planning or I'm still figuring things out. Next, ask yourself, what can I do to help my 24-hour future self? This is just a method I use to motivate myself and give myself some clarity on where I should put my focus. And then I also visualize how awful I will feel if I don't do it. A good quote here, which is slightly related, is, "Life is meant to be hard. And happiness comes when we start to enjoy doing hard things." Last lesson, doing over consuming. Based on my observation, we live in a world now where it's all about talking, knowing, and consuming things, and very little about doing. Instead of doing things, it's encouraged that we should talk about our feelings. People say you need to dig deep into yourself because that's where most of the growth is. This is by no means a bad thing, but there is only a certain amount of growth we can get from talking and consuming. At some point, I think we need to start doing things in the real world. We need to step outside of our comfort zone and experience things ourselves, because that's where most of the growth is. Like, there is no pressure, nervousness, and uncertainty when we're just consuming things in a safe environment. That was all the lessons. Please let me know in the comments below if there were any lessons you liked or disliked. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a great day.